This is really like embarrassing even to talk about.
No, it's funny. Back. This is behind the scenes. I don't think anybody's ever shared this story.
Every single year, those people get that medicine.
You know what I mean? Do.
If you made out with somebody, chances are you got a little herp.
YEA Networks.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 4 of Together Miss. Before we get into episode 4, I just wanted to say thank you from both of us for all the positive feedback, all the sweet comments. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tagging your friends. Thank you for downloading, subscribing, all of that good stuff, because that is going to keep our podcast going. And we appreciate you guys so much. And I try to respond back to every single one of you, especially if you write on my Instagram handle, BB Jordan Lloyd. I really have been better at responding on there.
Which is nice. It's nice of you to do that.
Yeah. I just want you all to know.
It's nice of you guys to write in, but it's nice of you to respond too.
But I want you all to know that I see you. And a lot of the responses, I'd love to write longer, but it would take me forever. But today we are going to talk a little bit about life. We're going to talk a little behind the scenes Big Brother. And then the beginning of the podcast, we talk a little bit finances. Jeff gets you're a little spicy today because we have had some when it rains, it pours type things happen here at our house. The perks of owning a home.
By the way, at the end of this episode, I'm going to make a fake Instagram account and write Jordan on it, sticking up for myself. Because when we talk about finance, we get into it a little bit.
We fight all the time, but I know all you ladies are going to agree with me on this.
All right, well, let's dive in.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about our weekend. It was kind of a long weekend. It probably explains a little bit why. Well, you always look nice. Anytime we're sitting here, you always look nice, and I always just look like...
Well, these pants I've wore every single episode because they're just there.
I look like I just rolled out of bed.
And these shoes are just new, and look, they still have the sticker on the bottom.
You guys, Jeff has 50 pair of white shoes.
I do.
The same ones.
But now these are my official podcast shoes.
Are they?
Yeah, because I'm not going to wear them. I'm just going to wear them for the podcast and leave them here. And then I'm just going to change my shirt. That's going to be you're just going to switch your blankets up?
I'm just going to switch my blankets out. I'm not pregnant. I was telling him that. I go, I feel like people are like, wait, you're hiding your belly. Are you pregnant? No, I'm just fat. I just drink too many beers and I got a beer belly.
Let's get into why we're talking about this today, because we kind of, we're just like everybody else and things get messy. That's why we started this podcast. And the one thing me and Jordan fight about, the only thing, is money, is our finances, right? Because
we do them separate. We do our finances separate.
No, that's not true.
We have, and then we try to do them together, and it just doesn't work.
Listen, Jordan has her own money that no one can touch, right? Then we have a joint bank account, which we both could touch, but except that's Jordan's. And then I have my own money that's called responsible money for unforeseen events, okay? But Jordan doesn't understand the unforeseen events part of finances. She's just like, you're such a tight ass. Put some money in the account so I could buy a white rug that goes outside. Who buys a white rug that goes outside? By the fire pit, by the way. So this is the start of some of our messiness for this week's episode. You going to push back on the white rug that goes under the fire pit?
No, I'm still, because it's going to be a fight on this podcast, I'm still mad at him I bought this nice sectional, and the cushions are destroyed because his mom got him this smoker that he asked for Christmas.
It's a smokeless fire pit.
I hate it.
First of all, you're in Colorado. You need real fire.
I'm like, find somewhere else. Put it in the yard somewhere else. The cushions are burned.
There's a couple burn holes from wild sparks.
I'm like, I'm not buying new cushions. You are, because you got drunk with the neighbors and you let the sparks fly up and burn the seats on purpose.
First of all, what are you talking about? Being drunk controls if the fire sparks up?
You just don't care.
Everything we say, we're like, we're
I know,
drunk.
We're not alcoholics, I promise.
All right, I didn't know you were going to bring it there, and I wasn't going to do the Messunderstandings segment this week, but if you're going to go there, I think I'm going to go on a little rant about finances.
Why?
What do you mean, what? Why'd you say it like that?
Because I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, because you just want to run away from your problems instead of dealing with them.
Yes. That's exactly what I want to do. Because then you sound like my dad, and then I get mad, and then I'm like, ugh.
Well, your dad sounds like a responsible guy.
And then I'm like, where's my marg?
Yeah, that solves it too. Let's throw some alcohol in the finance conversation. That should solve it. What I'm saying is you bought that rug that was expensive, okay? And that's kind of the gist of how you spend money.
Jeff was mad that I bought it from our house and I got it on sale. And then he went to Home Depot and bought a flimsy paper thing.
That because guess what? When fire goes on them and it burns a hole in it, you throw it away because it's $20. When this is hundreds of dollars and it's white for outdoors, first of all, at the company, they're like, hey, Bob, I just made this white carpet for outside. Hey, way to go, Frank. You get a raise.
It looked good. It looked really nice.
Yeah, when it's brand new in the magazine, it's not functional at all. Anyways, this is the little things that we get into. So that's just one example of 100. But so we got in this argument this weekend about money, right? Before everything happened. Because when it rains, it pours. And people think like, oh, you're on TV. You have so much money. That's not a true story at all. That's why we're doing this podcast.
That's what we did.
Tell a friend and hit subscribe.
That's what we talked about last week, and somebody wrote in the comments, they were like, oh, I assumed because you were on reality TV. And it's...
No.
Yeah, I mean, I did well with what I got. If y'all want to know, the government, okay, this is a little behind the scenes thing. When you win money on Big Brother, because I was in North Carolina and I won the money in California, I had to pay federal and state taxes in North Carolina and federal and state in California, and I wrote a check for $189,000. That's how much the IRS took.
Yeah.
If you really want to know, that's how much they took. And then I bought a home. I paid cash for it.
It depends what state you're in, because I know a friend of ours, Alex Boylan, I don't know, he won season 1 of The Amazing Race, but we were on, Big Brother, and then we did Amazing Race, and then I did this show called Around the World for Free. That's how I met Alex. He actually told me, if you're going to keep doing like reality shows,
move to Florida
because they have no state tax.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not moving to Florida to be a reality show.
But I think when you have,
but that was
just
smart.
from what I've learned from my dad and his friends who are older and very successful, that my dad's like, that's why a lot of them buy places in Florida because for tax reasons.
And Nevada, I don't think has state tax now.
Yeah.
And I don't
the
know.
IRS
Maybe
really does. They take so much of your money. So you have to be smart with it.
So Jordan's smart with her share of her money.
I am smart with my
which
money.
I've never seen
which
in my
I've
life.
made money, but...
Yeah, and my money is our money. So that's how that works in our house. Yeah, it's true. So we were having, and here's the real part.
We went off the rails.
No, we always go off the rails, but I'm letting you go a little off the rails.
Going back to the whole thing that I was saying, just to make it make sense, because like now you see on Instagram, like you'll see people who, and when I'm talking about reality shows, I'm talking about like reality game shows. Like you don't make a lot of money unless you win the prize. So like Amazing Race, Survivor, Big Brother, you're not rich when you get off of that.
Well, they're $1 million. Big Brother's only $500,000. Now it's $750,000.
But you're not. If you're on hit shows like Jersey Shore, Vanderpump, what's another one that have been on for a really long time, that's where you make like a lot of your money. So I'm not meaning those type of shows. I'm talking about reality game shows.
I'm trying to line this up. When I bring up money to Jordan and I say, hey, listen, I got to talk to you a little bit about finances, okay? Immediately, she gets in defense mode and shuts it down and gets super pissed. And like, that's all I said is like, hey, we got to talk about finances. You're making that face right now. If you're listening and not watching, she's making that face. How am I supposed to talk about finances if I can't talk about finances? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like Fight Club. You're not allowed to talk about finances in this house.
We were sick. We had strep throat. I was sick. He got sick. And I felt like I'd just been cleaning the house the whole time. I've been watching the kids all summer. I haven't had someone help clean in like 2 months. The last thing that I wanted to do, it was touch the house again. And I told Jeff, I said, you got strep, you're sanitizing the basement because that's where he was. And I did not, I got the ladies that will come and help like do a deep clean. And he was like, was that necessary? Because he goes, I cleaned the day before.
Because I mopped everything and I sanitized everything just like you told me to do.
I told you.
But you told me to do it, and then you're like, oh, these ladies are coming. I'm like, well, just pay me the money. I just did everything. What are they doing?
Yeah, but I wanted it like really clean. And I had told them that we had been sick. And so they're always like super nice. It's a family, and I like to support them.
Okay, but we were having some talks about finances, so that kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back.
And that's what made me mad, because he goes, was that necessary? And then I'm like, I got so mad because I was like, I've been sick. No.
Okay, go ahead.
I've been sick, and I just was like, don't even. Like, I do everything. I clean. You never have dirty laundry. Everything's done. And then that was like fighting words for me. And so I like flipped out.
All right, whatever. I'm sure everyone sees, a certain side that they could relate to in this whole thing. It's hard to talk about finances.
And every woman listening is siding with me.
That's fine. I'm not trying to win the fight. I'm just trying to tell you, sometimes you need to discuss hard topics without fighting about them. And we have trouble with the finance part. And
because
I think other people do too.
we never did finances together, that's why.
Right, because we have an account that I put money in, and it's over. Once I put money in there, it's over. Jordan buys white rugs for outside. It's going to be my argument the whole podcast.
No, because it's money for the kids too.
No, I get it. And it's hard. And you need independence and all that. You're right with all that.
And then you don't pay for my hair, and you don't pay for my toes. You don't pay for all that. If you did, I would love to. So you can put more money in the account if you would love to, because I could save.
All right, you're right. Every woman's going to be on your side.
Everyone.
But the point of the moral of the story here is, we're not saving any money. We're losing money by our expenses. We're outspending our means, to be perfectly honest with you. And I know that's not a cool thing to say. But when your car breaks down, or your water heater, like that just happened, or your garage door, that just happened, you need money put away for those certain things. I know I sound like get off my lawn grandpa, but you need to save your money for things like that. Otherwise, you're really going to get it. You're really going to take an L. Luckily, I put money aside, not like I'm Mr. Finance, but it's like, who's going to pay for that water heater? You got to take out a loan and then pay the government back interest. You're going to take out a loan to get the car. You're going to take out a loan to fix your garage. That's what people have to do. What are you looking at like you're sitting in class and you're just waiting for the bell to ring?
Because you're boring me, and I think you're boring everybody else listening.
Listen, if any woman is listening with their husband, he's like, you go. I'm going to hang out with that dude, Jeff.
Yeah, you're boring me right now.
All right.
So Jeff paid for the water heater. You're mad that you had to spend the money, but you're happy that you saved the money. And my neighbor, I go, Jeff is, I think Jeff's mad. And he goes, what's new? He's always mad. And I go, that is true.
I'm tired, man. I'm tired. We were dealing with that all weekend. And then I had to get up early. So we had to go get that.
Then the AC
thing today. Then the AC guy had to come. It was just like when it rains, it pours, right?
It does. I think that's just how you are. I think you're just a tight ass and you just don't want to spend anything.
Maybe. All right.
I think that's how it is.
I look like a super big tight ass. Let's start talking funny. What else were we going to talk about? Were there more stories you wanted to share about?
No.
Spending a lot of money?
No, I don't spend anything. Look how I dress.
No.
What?
Never mind.
Oh. Yeah, so when Jeff was telling me, he's like, you got to cut back. I was like, what else you want me to cut back on? Anyways, we're going to talk about something else.
But I think it's a problem a lot of couples have, right?
Yes, everybody has that.
But nobody really wants it. Well, you don't talk about your finances in public, even though we're doing it on a podcast.
The more people I've talked
you know what I'm
to,
saying?
I'm not going to say names, but people that like I've had a couple drinks with and we get in deep combos with, they feel the same. That like, man, I'm working so hard and I feel like the groceries are going up.
Everything's
going up, but my paycheck's not going up.
I don't ever want to feel that way. I got in a little bit of debt when I lived in LA, and I don't want to feel that way anymore. So that's maybe why I am the way I am. Like, hey,
I think
listen,
you're scared. You're just like, you're just scared.
Yeah, but I'm scared for my family. I'm not scared for me. Like, when I live by myself, I could live in a box with a mattress and be like, all right, I'm going to try to live my dream. Now that I have a family, it's more pressure. I have to, look after you. I have 2 kids to look after. I have to pay for this house. There's certain expectations that I put on myself. That's why I am, I think, the way I am, because I don't want to lose what we've built.
And we're not going to. I mean,
I know. I'm just being precautious,
Yeah, but I think everybody has their roles. Like, you have your roles, what you do, and I have my roles, what I do. And then it works.
I make the money, you spend it on white outdoor carpets.
Shut up. Okay, wait. Switching subjects.
All right,
I want to say
that
this.
one. That's enough complaining about finance. Those are therapy for finance.
So school is about to start for us. I think it's next week. Yeah, like next week. It's coming. And I was laughing the other day because I was like, oh, goodness, here we go. It's the new classroom. Then you get used to, for me, I don't socialize. I just drop my kids off and I leave. Like, I don't want to socialize. I don't want to go grab coffee with people. I want to do my own thing. You know how like moms like stand around and it's like, hi, Jill, or, and you're talking and I'm just like, don't look at me. I look like this at drop off, okay? Because with Leighton, I got to walk him in. Everybody knows, and this just like made me laugh because I'm like, here we go. I feel like now with school, like preschools, it's almost like in sports, everybody gets an award now, right?
Yeah.
So now for a birthday, everybody gets an invitation to the birthday. You don't even know if your kid even hangs out with this kid, but you're going to get an invitation, right? So people know, they kind of like joke with me, or I don't know if they're joking or not, but normally when I see it, I throw it in the trash because I'm like, I'm not going to this birthday. I don't even know the parents. In Lawson, it's getting better because he's at that age where I can just drop him off. And I knew this one kid in his class, I knew I'd be friends with his mom because it was a birthday. I didn't know anybody, didn't want to be there. And she's like, you can go run errands or do whatever you need to do. And I was like, she's going to be my friend. And then my friend Brittany made fun of me the other night. She goes, I didn't think you were going to come to Ryan's birthday. That's Lawson's buddy. He plays football with her son. And I go, why? She goes, because I know you hate birthdays. And I told her, I go, but I'm friends with you. I would totally come to you. I go, I just don't like the whole everybody gets invited. Like, we don't even do birthdays for our kids because of drama.
Yeah, for real. I feel bad.
Because then you feel like you have to invite every single person.
I'm not inviting 90 people to a 7-year-old's birthday party. That's ridiculous.
Even after now, we had that talk about finances.
Yeah, but it's not, that like if my kid wants a birthday, that's why usually for, speaking of vacations, we'll go somewhere, right? We'll go like to a little mountain town and spend like their birthdays there, and we'll get a little cake and just, the 4 of us. But there is too much social pressure to invite every single person you know. Imagine everyone at my work. Everyone, all of our neighbors, all the people that we talk to in this community. It's like, that's over 50 people. And then if you leave somebody out, especially in this neighborhood, it's a big drama fest. I'd rather neglect my children's childhood than deal with that.
Well, I think everybody in this neighborhood knows that I hate birthdays.
Yeah, you hate birthdays, and I don't like talking to people during the week. So we're pretty social people.
My next door neighbor, Mark, he's so funny. His wife, I'm like, where is she? And she hates birthdays and just doesn't like anybody. And he's like, she got out of it. I'm like, oh, Jeff got out of the party too. And I go, it's you and I. And then Mark,
as long as we send one representative, it's good.
I know, but I represent us every time.
You do the most time. Once in a while, I'll jump in there.
Yeah, but like I said, if I know you, I'll go to your birthday. But if my kid is in class with you, don't invite us because we don't want to be at the birthday.
No, you can't say it.
Why?
Because what if someone listens? I think. Talking about social pressures. No, but I think they have to.
Why?
I think you have to invite, because you can't leave someone out. Like,
what?
Especially now, you'll get in trouble.
What if your kid strangled my kid in class? Yeah.
But it's just so weird.
Or what if they took like a toy and like threw it at your...
If someone gets strangled, I don't think you're getting invited to the party.
I think so these days.
I know, you're
we
right.
got
You're right.
invited
I don't
to some
know.
Christmas party, and Jeff's like, "Who is this?" I was like, "I have no idea." And it was like at somebody's house, and people went, and I'm like, "I have no idea who this person is."
Anyways, if you're out there listening and you send us an invitation,
We're not going.
We apologize. I was going to say, we apologize. We have a lot going on in our own lives, and it's hard. You can't, you know what I mean? $30 gift cards every single time.
I think everybody gets a $30 gift
That's
card.
a good, right?
I don't know.
You could pick out. I get. See, that's another thing. Is that enough? I don't know what the going rate is.
Somebody's probably like, "Thank you," and then they open up the card and like throw it away, and they're like, "Tight ass."
Yeah, for
don't
real.
know.
And I didn't even want to come. Now I'm a tight ass.
Hey, I'm doing you a favor by letting your kid go to Target and pick out their own toy.
All right, that's enough. We're listen.
We're gonna turn it.
We're a little tired. It was a long weekend, and I think we're a little grouchy. I
I think you're grouchier than me.
Why you got to point fingers? I thought this was a we podcast, not an I podcast.
Oh, switching gears. We were going to talk about, so I haven't been keeping up. You're better at the dates with me. This is for Big Brother watchers. And even if you don't watch Big Brother, you find this interesting. We're going to talk behind the scenes. When are they going in the house? So we are recording this Monday.
I'll give everyone a timeline. So we record these on Mondays usually, and Wednesdays they come out. So as of right now, if you're listening, the house guests will be going in the house on tonight's episode, and I believe it's a live. They go in live. What's it called?
They do?
I think so.
Okay.
I believe they go in live. So we wanted to talk not so much about the cast, but about what the cast is doing right now. So
it's
again,
a behind the scenes that no one sees.
Right, unless you're on the show. So
right.
we wanted to give people maybe a little insight of what the house guests are feeling right now. If you're listening to this morning and they're going in live, because usually you're in the house for a week or so before it airs, the first one. I believe they're going in live on Wednesday.
Okay.
So that means today.
And this is an all day thing. You don't you think on TV it's quick. You leave your hotel that you were in sequester in, and then you go to CBS lot where it's filmed, and then they have security cops? Like, what is it? It's not cops, but
Right, no, handlers.
hey, no, the bodyguards. I'm talking about the security.
Yeah, there's security, but you also have someone handling you, right? Each person gets a handler, and they have like little microphones and earpieces, so you don't cross each other, so you don't see each other.
So everybody is in a room lined up. No one sees each other, and you're with your handler. You eat lunch with your handler. You're doing your hair, your makeup yourself. There is, and that's another thing people ask. You don't have a professional a makeup artist or hair person coming in. So they're gearing you up, and then one by one, they're going, and then everyone's luggage. Remember, they take your luggage, and then they have dogs. The cops have the dogs.
Let's back up a little bit. So
Okay.
they probably already did their press, right? So you have to do a press junket day where the same thing happens. You have a handler, you have someone with you, and you're constantly crossing people because you're doing different media outlets, whether it's Entertainment Tonight or whatever you're doing, CBS.com. That they probably did a day or two ago, right?
Yeah.
So again, this is Wednesday. So they probably did that on Monday when we're actually filming this. Then you get a day's rest. Then you go in. Someone comes in, checks all your clothes. I don't know if you guys knew that. You can't, when we did it, you can't wear white. You couldn't bring white in the house. You can't have any logos.
But now I feel
it's a little different because I think it had something to do with the cameras. And even at my work now on Daily Blast Live, they don't want me to wear white because of something that throws off the camera, something in the camera.
I feel like they've always said that.
That was like a rule on television. But now I think I don't know. It depends what cameras you have. That's too technical. But that's what they do. They come in and they take your clothes. If you have those, they give them back to you at the end of the season. But I remember the second time we played, a lot of my stuff had like artwork on it or stuff that I couldn't wear. So my brother sent me all those tank tops from Target.
Yeah.
And that's why I had like a tank top in every color that season because they took all my clothes away and my brother had to send me all those
When I went on, that was when Victoria's Secret, it was like what is it called? It's like the junior side, pink. That's what Victoria's Secret pink was popular. And you know how it had the dog was the logo or symbol?
Yeah.
They took Sharpies because I had a bunch of that, and they took Sharpies and had a color over that. And to this day, I can't fit into them, but I have two pair from Big Brother 13 that I wore. And it's funny, it makes me laugh because the dog is colored in, and it makes me think of that.
Yeah. And then what? So when you go in, again, there's hiding you, and you don't see your actual cast members. Again, this might be different for each cast, but when we went in the house, we went in pairs that first time, and you don't see when you line up to go out on stage.
You only see the back of someone's head.
Right. And they say don't talk. Nobody's allowed to talk. So Julie's the one talking. You're out on the stage, and you're not allowed to talk till you get in there.
When you are in sequester and it is the day that you are moving into the house, you do not see anyone. You have a handler with you. And then you ride, I think it's like a limo or like not a limo, but like a black car that picks you up, that takes you from the hotel to Radford Lot. Okay. Normally, when you get there, it's where the actresses go to get ready. Those are what do you call them? Green rooms? Those little rooms that were all lined up at the top.
Oh, those are, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That's like a green room, right?
No. Those are holding rooms for other people. So you think you could dance? It used to be right next door to Big Brother. So the people on those shows, that's their holding area.
Yeah, it's got like a shower.
Right.
It has a bathroom in there. It has everything. They fill it up with snacks for you. You have drinks.
Yeah, if you're like on the talk, they film a bunch of things. So if you're a guest in any capacity on any show, it's a nice like little setup. You have your own little space.
So that's where they put you, and you're there for hours.
Yes.
And and they don't tell you anything. They don't tell you time. So you could get there at, I don't even remember, but it felt like I got there at 11 o'clock. And I don't even think we walked into the house till like 5 p.m. Remember that?
And then they come and get lunch, and you're kind of pacing in that room because you're so excited. Yeah.
And then you can hear the house guest. I'm like, I can hear people talking on this and that, but you're like, what do you look like? Who are you? Where are you from? And that's going through your mind. Then they go, okay, your handler takes your bag again, and then they take it down the steps and they open everything to make sure you're not sneaking anything. Like they took, what did I have? Oh, because I had at the time, this was before kids, Motrin. And I told them before we went in, I was like, guys, I have to have my Motrin. I have horrible period cramps. And I had them in my bag, and I don't know if the dog sniffed it or what.
Yeah,
they took my Motrin. And then when I started my period and I needed it, and then you have to, then when you're in the house, you have to request that in the DR. Like, hey, can I have my Motrin? And that takes like 2 hours because it's got to go through all these people before you can get your medicine. That's actually a funny story.
Let me set this up.
Okay.
Big Brother's very private, which I think they have to be, respecting each person's individual situation. That's a nice way to put it, right?
Right.
But you have to go through physicals. You have to go through you have to talk to a psychiatrist. They give you this big booklet to take a test. So they're really, invested in you, right? And they don't want anything to happen in the house. And you're their responsibility. So they call you. This is where we're getting at. They call you in the diary room. Jeff, please come to the diary room. Jordan, please come to the diary room.
So you think you're going to sit in there and do an interview, and then you sit, because you don't see anybody. Then you see a pill bottle just sitting on the couch. And you're like, oh, what's this? I don't take medicine, because when I went in Big Brother, I wasn't on any medication, like anything.
Okay, this is embarrassing, but you guys have to stay with me, because this is going to get chopped up and everyone's going to think we have what I'm about to say. But so you go in there, right? You don't know anybody. You're like, okay, cool. Wow, I'm on TV. And I'm like, what is this for? And they're like, you have a form of like herpes, And I was like, what? And like, obviously you're not recording this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh my God. And they're like, okay, just take one a day, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and all in my head was like, oh my God, who is this dirty bitch that I was with that I got this from? So I'm all now insecure, like in my head, like, oh my God, this is horrendous. Like, what is happening? And everyone in the house.
No one talks about it. Wait, no one talks about it. And you don't know because they call you in the DR and you have this medicine and no one's sharing the information like, I got this too.
But everyone is kind of like,
what?
Their face is like, oh man. And I'm like, did you just get something in the DR? And I think I told you first, I'm like, did you? Because I know there's cameras on too, and I don't want to talk. So I'm like,
hang on, wait. Okay, so I get mine, and I've only slept with 2 people, Jeff and the guy I lost my virginity to. So they give me mine, and I'm like, when I get out, I'm going to murder this guy. Like, he gave me herpes. That's what I'm thinking.
But let me be clear. It's not herpes that you're thinking. Already people are like, you guys are too dirty podcasters.
Jeff and I are talking, and, I'm just going to say Jeff and I because I want to say there were more people sitting there.
There was definitely more people. I don't want to expose anybody else.
We'll
but there was a lot of people.
And I felt like everybody was like, oh my God, I got that
because
too.
It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, because
it's so embarrassing, and you don't want to share that. Saying like, "Hey, did you get that medicine?" You're like, "Well, what medicine?"
Right.
But everyone had it, and you're like, "Oh, that makes me feel so good."
And then I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't have anything."
No, so what it is if you've ever had a cold sore in your life, any kind of cold sore, that's a form of herpes, and they have to like give you medicine because if you like, say Jordan didn't have it,
you could break out or something,
I'd give it to you.
Right. I think if you make out.
But that's the thing. That's why you take medicine so you can't spread it. This is really like embarrassing even to talk about.
No, it's funny. Back. This is behind the snes. I don't think anybody's ever shared this story.
Every single year, those people get that medicine.
You know what I mean? Do.
If you made out with somebody, chances are you got a little herp. Not that kind of dirty herp, the other herp.
Yeah.
So it made me feel I'm embarrassed telling the story, but it was.
Why?
What do you mean why? Because people are going to cut this up and be like.
In our season, we had little lockers, and I would just take it and just shove it like in my locker in the back. I'm like, oh, nobody sees this.
I know. Oh my God, that was really bad.
That's like
because you're by yourself, and
you don't know anybody like that.
Yeah, and you can't trust somebody to be like, hey man, did you get your herpes?
I almost started crying. I remember they handed me, and I almost started crying. I was like, he ruined my life. I was just trying to think of all the things I was going to do when I get back.
I was piecing together a couple of dirty birds that were suspects. But anyways, we'll end on that story, that disgusting story for today. We were a little down, but we swung back up at the end. And so good luck to the future house guests moving in today. It's a very exciting day for them, no matter what. Yes. And it'll probably change some people's lives in the house, some for the worse, some for the better. So hope for the best.
And if you learned anything today, ladies, don't talk to your husband about finances.
No, you have to be comfortable talking about finances and herpes. The world goes round. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, download, tag your friends, follow me, BB Jordan Lloyd, follow Together Miss Pod, and follow Jeff Schroeder, and comment. Because like I said, I spent 3 hours the other night commenting back to all you. So I try. So I see you. And if you guys want to start a GoFundMe page for us, I mean, that's fine too. Okay, that sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. I'm just joking. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week and we'll do better, huh? Bye.